He's accurate, he's efficient, he has one of the fastest releases in the league. And still, he can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. Stats will try to tell you he's elite. The highlight reels will swear he's special. And Dolphins fans, they'll remind you every week that he led the league in passer rating. But when you actually watch Tua play, really watch him, you start asking questions no stat can answer. Like, why does he look unstoppable for 3 quarters and unwatchable in the 4th? Why do defenses never seem scared of him? Why does he melt the moment the game depends on him? This isn't a hater video, this isn't Tua slander. This is a reality check the NFL world has avoided for too long. Because when you strip away the system, strip away the speed, strip away the excuses, you're left with a QB who looks elite until you really need him to be. This is the truth about Tua Tagovailoa, and it's not pretty.
We're going to go ahead and let you know that you are the Elite 11 champion.
Where will you be in 2017?
Well, first and foremost, before I make my decision, all glory and praise goes to God. I will be making my commitment to the University of Alabama.
Let's start with the myth. Tua led the league in passer rating. Yeah, so did Jimmy Garoppolo. Passer rating is like sugar. It tastes sweet, but it hides everything underneath. It doesn't show the missed reads. It doesn't show how many throws came off scripted first read slants. It doesn't show that his success is almost entirely dependent on Mike McDaniel's play design and the cheetah-level speed around him. Tua is the ultimate system quarterback. And before you think that's an insult, it isn't, unless the system breaks down. And that's where the problem starts, because when the first read isn't there, when the pocket breaks, when things go off script, Tua falls apart. He's not creating, he's not improvising, he's just surviving. And the NFL is watching. The moment Tyreek Hill showed up in Miami, Tua's numbers exploded. But so did the illusion. Tyreek turns 5-yard slants into 60-yard touchdowns. He warps defenses. He's a walking cheat code. And Tua, he just has to throw it into space. It's not that those throws are easy, they aren't, but with Tyreek and Waddle stretching the field vertically and horizontally, the margin for error is massive. And yet, even with that, Tua still shrinks when it matters most. Against playoff caliber defenses, that middle of the field comfort zone vanishes. The windows tighten, the pressure increases, and Tua gets exposed for what he really is. A quarterback who can't carry a team, only ride one. Let's talk about when Tua plays well. You ever notice it's always early in the game? He'll look like prime Drew Brees in the first half and then disappear. You start to see it late in third. By the 4th, it's a different quarterback. The decisions slow down, the panic sets in, the ball starts floating. Why? Because Tua's success is built on rhythm. When that rhythm breaks, he's exposed. The anticipation throws vanish. He starts aiming, not throwing. And unlike Mahomes or Allen or even Hurts, he can't lean on physical talent to escape that collapse. He doesn't have the arm to make up for hesitation. He doesn't have the size to break tackles. He doesn't have the legs to improvise consistently. So when the game tightens and defenses start disguising coverages, Tua freezes. He becomes the guy you pray can hold on, not the guy you believe will take over. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Tua, under pressure, is a completely different quarterback. Last season, he was ranked near the bottom of the league when facing pressure in completion percentage, yards per attempt, turnover-worthy plays. And before you blame the O-line, sure, it's not perfect, but no O-line is under pressure on every snap. You watch Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, they adapt, they adjust, they escape. Tua, he panics. His internal clock gets loud. He forces throws. He spins into sacks. He gives you nothing off script. It's not that he's soft, it's that his game is fragile, built on timing, trust, and routine. And the moment those vanish, so does he. We all respect what Tua has overcome physically. The hip in college, the concussions, the hits. He's shown toughness, that's never been the question. But in a league where availability matters just as much as talent, it's fair to ask, Can you build your franchise around a quarterback who might not survive the season? Every hit feels like a coin flip. Every scramble looks dangerous. And it's clear the coaching staff limits the playbook to protect him. No designed runs, no movement-based throws, no extended chaos. Just quick pass, quick pass, quick pass. That works. Well, until it doesn't. And in January football, you need more. Tua isn't bad, he's just limited, and the NFL is slowly realizing his ceiling is lower than they hoped. He's accurate, but only when things are perfect. He's smart, but only when the defense plays fair. He's productive, but only when his coach is cooking. When you have elite talent around you, people expect elite results, but Tua gives you moments, not mastery. Efficiency, not evaluation. Highlights, not heroics. And that's the problem. In a league where the elite quarterbacks define everything, Tua just isn't that. He's not carrying rosters like Lamar. He's not creating out of chaos like Mahomes. He's not terrifying defenses like Allen. And when it's all on the line, he's not the guy you trust to win you the game. Let's be real. Tua is one of the most protected quarterbacks in the NFL. By his coach, by his system, and by the media. Because it feels mean to criticize a guy who's been through so much. But if we're being honest, the Dolphins have one of the best offensive arsenals in football, and they still can't win when it counts. Why? Because their quarterback is good enough to get you to the dance, but not good enough to win it. And eventually, that's what matters. You can't keep waiting for him to become something he's not. He's not a game breaker. He's not a franchise changer. He's not a problem solver. He's a system-dependent, timing-reliant rhythm quarterback in a league that demands improvisers. So, what now? Tua's good, but the question isn't, is he good? It's, is he good enough? Good enough to justify a massive contract? Good enough to survive January football? Good enough to go toe-to-toe with the AFC elite? Right now, the answer is no, and that's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. But somebody had to, so now we ask, if Tua can't win with this team, what exactly is he? They won't say it out loud, they'll back their guy in every press conference. But if you really pay attention, the Dolphins don't fully trust Tua either. You don't build a roster like this unless you're trying to compensate for your quarterback. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane. They even traded for Chase Claypool and drafted more speed. Why? Because they know. They know Tua's not putting the team on his back. So instead, they're handing him a Ferrari, hoping he can just drive straight. And even then, they still won't let him off the leash. No aggressive fourth down calls, no off-script creativity, no deep playoff trust. You don't call games that safe, unless you're scared of what happens when the QB has to think for himself. Let's step back. Tua was taken 5th overall, right before Justin Herbert. Years before Mahomes and Allen, right around Hurts and Burrow. Look around the league right now. Every other young quarterback in their tier has led deep playoff runs, made game-changing plays, or at the very least shown they can be the guy. Tua? He's got some stats and 0 moments. Even Brock Purdy, the literal last pick in the draft, has more playoff wins and way more clutch moments than Tua. Herbert throws lasers that defy physics. Hurt runs an offense with total command. Burrow can drag an injury-ridden team to an AFC title game. Purdy dissects defenses under pressure. Tua gets by until he doesn't. And when you put all that side by side, you realize the gap isn't shrinking, it's widening. Let's talk about the business, because the Dolphins are on the edge of a dangerous decision. Do you pay Tua like a franchise quarterback? Do you give him $45 to $50 million per year when you still don't know if he can win when it matters most? Because if you pay him, he becomes the standard. And if he's not elite, you're stuck. Look at the Giants. They paid Daniel Jones off a good year and a playoff win. Now they're trapped in quarterback purgatory. The Cowboys stalled with Dak, and now regret it. The Browns paid Deshaun, and, well, you already know. The Dolphins can't afford to make that mistake because this roster is in a Super Bowl window. The defense is loaded, the weapons are in place, the coach is brilliant, But the QB, still the biggest question. Here's the moment everything starts to unravel, when you hit the playoffs and reality punches back. Last season, the Dolphins made the wild card. Tua had a full year to prepare. Tyreek and Waddle were healthy. The stage was set, and in the biggest game of his life, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 7 points on the scoreboard, and a first-round exit. Now, imagine this same stat line from Mahomes, from Allen, from Burrow. It would be a scandal, but with Tua, it's expected, because deep down the NFL already knows he's not built for January football. You don't dink and dunk your way to a ring. You don't throw short of the sticks on 3rd and 8 and hope for YAC. You need risk. You need improvisation. You need a quarterback who isn't scared of chaos. Tua is built for structure, and the playoffs are anything but. It's not just about Tua anymore. The Dolphins are running out of time. Tyreek isn't getting younger. The defense isn't staying cheap. Mike McDaniel won't keep calling perfect games forever. In the AFC, it's a war zone. Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Allen isn't either. Burrow's coming back. Stroud just arrived. Lamar's leveling up. Even Trevor Lawrence is lurking. You need a killer at quarterback to survive in this conference. Tua, he's a passenger, and passengers don't win Super Bowls. Drivers do. We've danced around it long enough, so let's just say it. Tua Tagovailoa is holding the Dolphins back. Not because he's bad, but because he's not enough. He's the guy you settle for when you can't get elite. The guy who puts up empty numbers, but folds when it gets hard. The guy who plays quarterback but doesn't own the position. And deep down, even Dolphins fans are starting to feel it. They'll defend him, they'll bring up his accuracy, they'll scream about passer rating and EPA play. But in the back of their minds, they know, they've seen it. Every big game, every big moment, Tua vanishes, and someone else walks away with the win. Tua isn't trash, he's not a bust. He's a solid quarterback with good traits, a quick release, and a high floor. But the league isn't about floors anymore. It's about ceilings, and Tua's already hit his. No matter how many yards he throws for, no matter how clean the stat line looks, no matter how many systems they build around him, he's still the quarterback you hope wins, not the quarterback you know will win. And that's the difference. That's why the Dolphins aren't a real threat. That's why fans still hesitate, and that's why nobody fears him in January. So let's stop pretending, let's stop protecting, let's stop dodging the truth. Tua's not the guy. And the sooner the Dolphins realize that, the sooner they might actually win something.